Start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we ask you today to watch over this meeting of our commissioners, help them to make decisions that are good for our county, and just be with all of our employees and citizens of the county throughout the week. In Jesus' name, amen.
I will now call the Monday, March 18th, Linn County Commission meeting to order. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? If not, I'll make a motion to approve them as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
I'll make a motion, we pay the claims in the amount of $159,004.25.
I'll second that motion. It's been moved and seconded to pay the claims in the amount of $159,004.25. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Can you grab the ads and abates?
Yep.
Okay. Total tax change on that would be a negative $3,040.78.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the ads and abates for 2023, numbers 252 through 254, and number 256 through 260, in the amount of a negative $3,040.78.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded on the ads and abates. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
There's the park report through February.
All right, our 2024 park year-to-date report for the month of February. Total income of $16,074.26. Total expense of $18,867.58 for a loss so far, or for the month of February, of a negative $2,793.32. Year-to-date income totals are $30,008.39. Expenses are $54,617.10 for a negative $24,608.71. AMR, Dawn? Good morning.
right, I've got month-to-date totals on ambulance calls. Blue Mound had 2 calls and 1 transport. Centerville had 5 calls and 2 transports. Lacine had 17 calls, 10 transports. Linn Valley had 4 calls, 3 transports. Mound City had 6 calls, 2 transports. Parker had 5 calls, 3 transports. Pleasanton had 17 calls, 11 transports. Prescott had 1 call, 1 transport, for a total of 57 calls and 33 transports and 2 transports by helicopter so far this month.
Okay. Any questions for Dawn?
I don't know.
I do. Here about 6 months ago, I talked to Galen about
Sure.
our life flight helicopter in our airport that we have. Is there any way you could help us look into that again to see if they'd be interested in maybe making that some kind of hub there at our airport for their helicopters?
To host a helicopter
Yeah.
there? Oh, sure.
I kind of talked to Galen about it about 6 months ago. We didn't talk in depth about it, but
Sure.
we're trying to figure something out at our airport. So
Like to have a helicopter posted there?
yeah, just like if you guys are, or if they're interested, I don't know if that's through you guys or if it's a secondary
Yeah,
company.
yeah. It would be one of our cousin
Or if you could get me in contact with
Yeah.
somebody. So
Sure, I'll get that for you.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Dawn.
thank you.
Randy, fire?
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Hagwell, Linn County Emergency Management and Rural Fire. Sent out the weekly call totals. We had 5 calls last week. Brings our yearly total up to 132. I also have an application from Jason Weber. This would be an application to Station 940 in Parker and bring our roster total up to 6 out of 15. If I get approval to hire him as a firefighter pending pre-employment testing. And just on that one, Jason served 17 years with the fire department prior. He's wanting to come back to serve again.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept Jason Weber as probationary firefighter. Parker Fire Department.
I'll second that motion. It's been moved and seconded to approve Jason Weber as a probationary firefighter in 940 in Parker. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I have a second application. This is for Station 920 in Pleasanton. This will bring our roster total up to 17 out of 22. Permission to hire Morgan Wills as probationary firefighter.
What was the last name?
Wills?
Wills.
I'll make a motion that we hire Morgan Wills as a probationary firefighter for 920.
I'll second it. Motion been moved and seconded to hire Morgan Wills as a probationary firefighter in Station 920. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have unless you guys have questions this morning.
I don't have any.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Randy.
Got this.
All right, Sheriff's Report for March 18th. Total prisoners of 67, 13 releases this past week. Total prisoners in of 66. Total farmed out 1 due to a conflict. Total farmed in of 47. Total 911 calls of 94. Jail contacts of 4,123. Total calls for service of 647. Civil service papers served of 22. VIN inspections 3. New cases opened 7. Cases closed 4. Vehicle crashes 3. SRO activities were 0 for spring break. Bailiff contacts of 159 with 54 resulting in calls for service. Livestock out of 5. Okay. Next up. Jessica?
Good morning, Commissioners. I have the sidewalk grant that we do every year through the Economic Development Committee. The committee has looked at this and approved it at our last meeting, so we just need approval from you all before I send it off to the cities. This one, we allocate $5,000 for the year. It is budgeted for. The max grant to any one city is $2,500 from the county. The program is designed to be a three-way split for a sidewalk between the county, the city, and the property owner. The project max for the grant is $7,500, so each entity puts in $2,500 towards the project. Anything over that is on the property owner. We've done this for several years. Last year we had Parker participate in this one. It just kind of depends on how the cities, whether the cities have budget to participate as well, how many grants we give out for this one. But what I need today is approval to, I guess, have the program for 2024, and then I can send the application out to the cities. The cities manage everything. Once we approve a grant, we cut the check to the city, and the city deals with all the paperwork and managing the project. Do you have any questions about it, or?
We have a motion to approve the sidewalk grant.
I'll make a motion that we approve the sidewalk grant.
I'll second it. Been moved and seconded to approve the city sidewalk grant through Linn County Economic Development. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. That's all I have today.
Sean? Okay.
Morning, Commissioner. Sean West, Public Works. We have several bid openings this morning. One of those bid openings is kind of crucial to our operations, which is tires. So if we could do that bid opening this morning, hand it back, and we will try to get it back to you for approval after going through it, so that those orders can be made and we can get those out to the shops.
Big tires, or what are these for?
I'm sorry?
What were these tires for?
These are shops for trucks and equipment.
Okay, I have Palms Tire Service in Pittsburgh. For the Mound City shop, $24,780.84. The park, $960. Lacine shop of $5,616.96. Pleasanton of $960, and landfill of $11,944.40.
They have these ones all broke out per, or note to it well. Mound City shop, grader tires, dump truck tires, tractor trailer tires. Oh, they have it broke out. It's this from Goodyear. Is that the size or the quantity? Or
Probably the size.
doesn't have a number.
Okay.
Who's that one from, Danny?
This one's from Goodyear, and they have it broke down like grader tires. They don't have a quantity; they just have it 870 each.
That's okay, I can work with that.
Okay. Do I need to state all these numbers, David?
I wasn't recording all the numbers yet. I figured I'd wait till he made a recommendation.
If you would hand them to me, I can go qualify them and then I'll bring back the total.
All right, Jim, you want to look at that?
Was there a specific business name on that one or just Goodyear?
Goodyear Commercial Tires is what it says.
Kansas City.
Next is for the chip and seal.
Which ones do you want?
County-wide chip and seal?
Those are the projects that Todd put together for this year that you asked us to go out to bid. I think it's just over 20 miles of chip and seal, as I remember.
Do you know what he has budgeted for his in-house?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay, I have one for Blevins Asphalt out of Mount Vernon, Missouri. For 23.5 miles. And there's three different. There's a mobilization of 11,000, peeling and sweeping off road edge of 15,322. Option one of $592,977. Option two of $583,464. And then a single coat chip and seal of 221,970.
I have one from Circle C paving. Chip seal, labor and equipment, 23.5 miles is 148,285. Chip seal, materials, labor and equipment for 23.5 miles. It's $547,292.
The other one I opened was from Bailey's Asphalt in Carl Junction, Missouri, and it looks like all we got was a brochure.
I have Vance Brothers, and for chip and seal of 23.5 miles, $643,061.50.
Then we bid it one way.
It just says, yeah, Vance Brothers will provide all the other service, including brooming. Quote is based on a county peeling road edge, no permanent pavement markings included. So we got these bids in lieu of us doing them, right? I mean, that's what these are about.
That's correct.
But we don't know what Todd had budgeted for this year.
We'll take it back, build a spreadsheet on it, and bring it back to you on what his budget was and what the cost for us doing it versus the contractual bids were.
All these bids, can you give me a listing later in the day of the amounts and what they were? Thank you.
We haven't contracted any material or anything for this job yet, right?
No. The next is hay or crop ground. One of the bids in here is, I'm being told is, or maybe for the industrial park, which is not up for bid this year.
This bid is from Charles Bright from Pleasanton. Linn County Airport, hay ground, $38 per acre for 106 acres. Total of 38,2280. Bids for the Linn County Park hay ground, $25 per acre for 92 acres for a total of $2,300.
Didn't we change the airport from 2 years or from 4 years to 2 years?
I would have to check on that. If you changed it, I'm unaware of it, but I know we've adjusted some of these so that we can start getting them all at the same time instead of scattered out every other year.
Okay, I've got one from Larry Reynolds. $20 on the industrial park hay ground. And at the Linn County Park hay ground, $2,530.
Cole Davis from Lacine, airport hay ground, $45 an acre. Linn County Park hay ground, $45 an acre. And it goes to Pleasanton, it's a tillable acreage, he has $110 an acre.
That's the one that's not up for lease.
Hayes, $45 an acre.
Okay, so this one's Dalton McGinnis, Lacine Industrial Park. Okay, I must have, yeah, so Larry Reynolds was to Lacine Industrial Park at $20. Lacine Industrial Park, $815. The Linn County Airport of $4,527. Linn County Park Hayground of $2,500. Solid Waste Landfill Crop Ground of $2,600 for Dalton.
I have, airport for, Up and Hour Farms for the airport only for for $3,758. Charles Johnson at the airport for $4,024. And then, Linda Conley for the airport for $4,760.
Okay, and then I have Chad Gorman for $1,750 for the 22 acres of farm ground at the landfill.
So do we need to determine what we're doing, splitting that hay ground off, or how are we doing that? Is that gonna affect us with our plans at the airport or moving forward? Does anybody know? I know,
We haven't made any decisions, right?
no, but we talked about it.
This is for a 1 year or 2 year lease?
2-year lease.
2 year.
The next one I had up was fuel, and I only had one of those.
From MFA Oil and Garnett. Dyed diesel at $3.16.91. Clear diesel at $3.16.56, and unleaded fuel at $2.76.35.
That's for mowing beds.
This one's from Midwest Maintenance LLC out of Lacine. Linn County season mowing, the total of $25,472.70.
This one's from Scarecrow Farm Lawn Care. Total bid is $19,950.
We got one from Hartman Landscaping out of Blue Mound for a total of $20,895. And then got one more. And know what that was, 25,
26,
oh,
250.
26. And we got Dreamscape, for all areas per season, $26,250.
Okay.
So that's. Yeah, includes mowing, trimming, okay.
It's for culvert bids. Okay, Olathe Windwater. This is for plastic culvert pipes and couplings. North Shop, total of $7,306, or yeah, $306.60. South Shop of $15,791.80 for a total of $23,098.40. J&J Drainage Products out of Hutchinson. This is steel culverts for the north and south shop, $12,517.50.
On that incorporated has it by per foot, so. It's the two totals here, and they're $302.97, $347.43. He's got it broke down per foot, and he's bid.
I got metal culverts out of Jefferson City, Missouri. North shop and south shop total $23,316.20.
Wellborn Sales out of Salina for plastic culverts, total of $19,056.55.
That's for the metal culvert bid for $18,099.60. Same company.
Last thing I had for you was road tractor bids. All right, Kenworth out of Wichita, WKI Operations Inc. 2025 T880 Kenworth.
The 565 horsepower is $181,292. 525 horsepower, $180,404. 500 horsepower of $180,393. And then to put a wet kit on would be another $11,763.
Different of the weight.
This is one from Peterbilt, Kansas City. It's for 2025 Peterbilt 567 day cab. Truck is set up to be turnkey option for you. The wet kit will be installed and made to run a 2-line setup for your lowboy trailers. Price includes wet kit, 1 year, 100,000 mile base warranty, 5-year, 200,000 mile extended warranty coverage, the engine and after treatment. $170,786.
Got a bid from Nextran for 2025 Mack Granite for $154,992. And then a 2025 Mack Pinnacle for $145,565.
Get that, Sean, could you give us a spreadsheet of exactly what the options are on those, and where we can see, just.
We'll try to break it out in like an Excel document or something that'll.
See them as far as what's there, and what engines.
And then my plan is to have the mechanic go through this and compare those things as well, because we're not gonna be able to do it ourselves as well, so.
Okay.
Thing I gave you was a surplus property resolution 2024-09. This is for damaged, broken, and outdated equipment. I think you'll notice there's some cameras and GIS had turned in, some of it damaged and broken, others just obsolete.
On the Milwaukee, has it been sent back to the company to see, or the 1/2-inch impact wrench? It says it cannot be rebuilt. I know I've sent things back into Milwaukee and they rebuild them.
I would have to check with the mechanics that they normally do all that work prior to sending it to us. They do a pretty good job of contacting all the companies and things beforehand to make sure that we've got
Send it back to Milwaukee.
warranty work done. And
You'll have to pay a little bit for them, but they'll fix them for you even if they're out of warranty. But maybe it's damaged, it can't be fixed.
You want to follow up on that before we approve, or?
even if you approve it, I won't surplus it until I've answered that question.
Okay. Any other questions?
I don't have any questions for this, but we have a bunch of surplus stuff in the old sheriff's department. Are we doing anything with any of that?
As far as I know, I have storage over there. from the Pleasanton Senior Center, which I'll talk about today. As far as the rest of what's in the building,
Yeah.
no, I have no plans for that and have no direction for that until I'm told otherwise.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2024-09 for surplus property for the half-inch impact wrench Milwaukee M18, Ricoh Caplio digital camera, 2 digital cameras, and a laser rangefinder.
Second.
Motion been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Next thing I had was an MOA with Evergy as far as 2 bridges, one 2200 over the Lacine Spillway, the second Young over the Kansas City Southern Spur. Bert and I sent these late on Friday. I think you may have seen these.
Yeah.
These are very typical, and I say very typical, it's an MOA agreement for bridges that Evergy owns so that we can get them off of our inspection list at the state. There was a push about a year and a half ago to get them assigned, and Evergy across the state is the only private bridge owner. So they came up with the MOAs with all the counties or entities to get those moved over to them, give them access. They will do the inspections. They will have the bridges updated in the state website. We are responsible for snow removal maintenance, as far as the removal or cleaning of the roadway, repair, replacement of guardrails, replacement of pavement, but not limited to milling or overlay, chip and seal or any striping. They own the bridges. We're doing the surfaces, some signage, and regular maintenance to those, but they are taking over all the inspections and the care of the bridge structures themselves. Recently, last year, you'll notice over on the Young project, they came off the bridge away from their agreement because there was some water coming down and going around the edges of the bridge down the roadway and then going down below and doing damage to the sides of the structure as far as the dirt work coming up or the approach to the bridge. They went through and did curbing, did an excellent job and paid for all of that themselves. So these agreements are only, I guess, only benefiting the county as far as the maintenance costs, the tasks, and them keeping track of the bridges that we don't have control of.
So what do you need from us? Just to agree with it?
Believe that on the second page, you'll find a chairman and a clerk. If you'll give authority for the chairman to sign the agreement, what will happen is I'll ship it out to them after it's sealed. They'll get the other signatures along with all the other bridges. And when they get the signatures back from their 2 branches or offices, they will send us a completed agreement. And they'll also register that with the state, taking those off of our registry and putting them on their responsibilities.
You guys good with this? Or-
Yes.
I'll make a motion we enter into a memorandum of agreement with Evergy on the two bridges. One carrying 2200 Road over Lacing Lake Spillway and the other one carrying Young Road over the Kansas City Southern Spur.
I'll second that motion. It's been moved and seconded to enter into a memorandum of agreement with Evergy for the two bridges, 2200 Road at Lacing Lake Spillway and Young Road over the Kansas City Southern Spur. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Commissioners, last week, shop foreman, an operator, and Jessica and myself met with Brad Ost. The project that we spoke about, lifting the roadway and clearing the waterway, has been set on for May, and the waiver was signed. All parties were in agreement about the work and cutting the project apart. The only thing we did do is leave it open to what we find and what we deal with on the spot, but we're trading phone numbers with the shop foremans and the landowners so that they can work it out and schedule it appropriately. The next thing I had for you was you had a series of questions for Tony Malini from Terracon in reference to the landfill discussion. I think you'll see that he sent back a group of answers and the engineering diagrams for those cells. The first was how far east would we put could we put the new tipping floor without interfering with permits or the cells? It said see the attached drawings, estimated subject to geotech investigation. We may have to cut into future tire monofill area, some depending on how far east we need to go. Do we still have to continue monitoring the wells? Have not heard back from KDHE and we'll check again. Do we need to do anything with the well or permits to close them out? We will need to keep the wells. Likely the KDHE will want us to sample at least one more time, but he'll need to confirm if we need to keep the wells and they are in a construction area for the new roadway. We can flood or can do flush grade completion so they don't obstruct traffic. We can close them out after we have completed any required monitoring. And would a road to a new tipping floor be impacted by the old MSW cells? And can we cap the roadway and still make it work? The new tipping floor would likely be outside the old landfill area to the south. Would want to confirm with geotech boring, would also look at the possible roadway routes to access the new tipping area. Could feasibly go over the old landfill with gravel roads, but would still need to confirm with geotech boring. Pretty much until we move forward, he's pretty much telling us if we plan something in those areas, we'll have to bore, find out what's below those areas and make sure that we don't have to do any other work before putting infrastructure on top of it to keep our permits, is what I gather from his answers.
So what's our next step then?
I'm sorry?
Our next step is what?
Our next step is planning and our meeting next week, coming up with what projects we want to do and how to move forward on those projects and how to fund them. I would say the biggest thing we need to do is find out which one of those things in that plan that we were given from Peppercorn do we want to implement? Do we want to implement them in stages? If we want to implement any or all of those projects and how we do it in stages, how we pay for it, and then who we have engineer the building and design of it so we can send it out to bid. Pretty much picking the fat away from it and deciding what we want to do and sending it out to bid to get numbers on it so we can move forward. But once the engineering's done, we can have them work with Tony, and Tony can keep them out of our areas or at least keep them from violating our permits by looking at the geotech board and things to make sure that we're where we need to be.
So next week, we're gonna,
We've got that on the agenda for next.
Next week, we're going to look at the peppercorn engineering on the tipping floor scales, what, and where we need to put everything and how we want to bid it out and how we want to pay for it. Pretty much what we're going to do is decide what we want to keep out of that project, what we want to fund out of that project, where we want to pull the money for the equipment versus the capital outlay, and then decide how we want to send it out to bid or engineer it. Okay, last week you had questions on the swim beach. I sent you the original RFP. It went out in '23, but you'll see there the engineering part of that, just to get the beach engineered and to move forward with trying to get that engineering plan passed through Evergy and Wildlife and Parks. The engineering bids we got at the time were between $50,000 and $55,000. If you would like me to send or resend that RFP out and get fresh bids, because these are a year old, I will send it out and get new bids for that.
Thoughts on the swim beach?
Yes. In order to move forward with that project, we have to have it engineered and then passed by Wildlife and Parks, who has the lease on the water, and Evergy as the property owner.
no, I mean, we're definitely not gonna be swimming this year, does it sound like? We're also losing $24,000 a year there and just trying to get people there. So I know swimming's not a huge deal, but not everybody wants to watch their dad throw a fishing pole all day. They might want to go swimming. So that's my kick on it. Yeah.
I mean, we don't lose 24,000 a year. That's just where we're sitting right now.
There's more because we don't include everything in that. Benefits, none of that stuff's included in that. So it's actually probably more.
Right.
Well, this is the only pathway I know to get to the swimming. If you're interested in that, we would have to get it engineered and then get it past those two entities in order to get approval based on the contract that we signed with them.
So you want to send it back out for bids?
I mean,
Is that all right with you?
Yes, I know we spent quite a bit on the lagoons this year.
Yeah.
I guess we can go out for bid on it.
If you'd like, and do want to go out to bid, I will come over that and see if we can scale that project enough to get it something proposed, but to bring it back from its original design, maybe we can get a more attractive number.
So that's just for the engineering on the swimming beach is going to be 50 to 55,000?
That's what we originally got for bids.
That was a bid to do it.
For the engineering only, not for building it, not for,
That was just engineering only bid?
That's my understanding. Now, those are the numbers I pulled apart from that original RFP that went out. And you got to understand, we have to engineer it and then get it approved before we even start the process of building it. So I don't think that this project is anything that we couldn't build ourselves, but we have to get it engineered and get it approved. That's why I want to comb back over those, make sure that's what they bid on, not a larger project that we didn't ask them to, so I can get those bids in a more attractive area.
I think we go back out for bids.
Go back out for bids.
Which one go out for bids, but that's just for the engineering. It's gonna take a lot of money.
Yes, it will. I'm with you on that, Jim. Okay.
Okay. Park lagoons are scheduled to start back up on the 25th. The contracting company had got a hold of me and said that that was their projected start date. We also have the plumbing company ready as soon as those first two cells are open or dredged to go back in and put that piping back in as we agreed. Your update for the senior center and the old district court went over the senior center. Painting was started, and I'll have to check to see exactly where we're at. But I hope to get started on flooring this week. Bathrooms done. Then we took over the painting part of the project, and once we got the painting done, we can go back, level the floors, put the flooring in, and then we're ready to move the stoves, the furniture, and everything in after that. So we're getting close on the end of that project. I just can't give you a timeline after the schools have come off of spring break of when we're going to finish the painting and they're going to take over the floors. As far as the old district court, met with several people this week. We're looking at, Chris has been working hard to terminate the lines on the fiber and he projected that would be done towards the end of this month. Once that's done, we're looking at cleaning the building. I took maintenance staff over and looked at what we'd have to do to get the carpet after years of being in there and then the construction going on over the top of it, what we'd have to do to get that carpet cleaned back up before putting people on top of it. We'd have to move furniture from offices to hallways, clean the offices and move it back. The only thing that I'm concerned with is whether or not it would be more beneficial and we would last longer on the flooring that we had before having to do something if we steam cleaned it. I would like to at least try to get a price on steam cleaning it if that's possible, just to try to get some longevity, because this is going to be the only time that we're going to have all that furniture moved out of the way and a floor exposed to where we can get to it. Once we set these desks and the computers and the cabinets and all the equipment, it's going to be a much more difficult project. So at this point, I'm not asking to go out and do it. I'm asking to go out and get a price for it in case it looks more attractive once we have maintenance staff clean it and they say, no, you need to spot clean or have it steam cleaned, or we need these 3 rooms. I would like permission to at least have a pricing so we'd know what we needed to do to keep it moving.
As long as it doesn't slow it down, I'm all right with it.
I'm sorry?
As long as it doesn't slow anything down, I'm good with it.
I don't think it's going to slow anything down. And I talked to Lisa and we discussed it and she thought it was pretty good plan to not move on top of something that we had to move offices out. And we've also, she's marked all the desks. She's marking property up there. Her and Pam have made a map with numbered rooms so that we can move, and every box or desk or item will have a number on it so that we can move it to a numbered room and we don't slow down the process of moving. So we're on that project as well. We're getting closer and closer, but I would like a good cleaning of the building before we move in on top of it.
Okay. I think now's the time to clean it. So,
I'm good with it.
okay.
Okay.
Find out what it's going to cost.
Next thing I had for you was 5-minute executive session request for non-elected personnel.
As far on the elderly center there in Pleasanton, I know that we have to apply for that license or whatever, that permit. Is that something that's already in the works or?
Jessica spoke to Area on Aging and was advised as soon as we get the implements back in the building, all the construction done and them cleaned and moved back in, that license they would apply for and take care of. We just need to check locally with Randy, possibly about an occupancy or license or permit from fire.
Okay.
And that's all I had for you. Oh, I'm sorry.
You want to take care of that executive session?
We can do it or the tires.
However you want to do it.
Looks like, the breakdown, if I understand is both bids were comparable, same tires and everything we requested. The breakdown for Goodyear was 33,881.07. Pumps was 43,782.20. So it looks like about a $10,000 difference.
What was the total on Goodyear's again?
33,881.07.
Okay. Questions on those bids?
Who did we go with last year?
I believe it was Palms, wasn't it?
Make a motion that we accept Goodyear's bid of $33,881.07 for tires.
I'll second it.
Motion's been moved and seconded to accept Goodyear's bid for $33,881.07 for tires. Is there any discussion?
I saw that skid steer for this, I think it was the North Shop was listed on that. Do you have it in front of you?
The only skid steer that I see is the skid steer from Pleasanton, and that's the one that they split with the park. That's the older one that
Oh, okay.
we'd kept around between the park and asphalt.
Okay, it's not one of the new Bobcats.
No.
All right, that's all I had.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
So have you heard anything about the Boycourt Road? Is it Queens Road?
No, I haven't. I've talked to Wildlife and Parks, sent some emails back about splitting the job task up. But what I've waited on is the weather to change and me to get a couple of days to go out there with the road foremans and an operator and get the list to go over with them and split it. I'm assuming that as soon as we get through a few things like this and other larger projects, I'll have time to get out there, put a few days on it, get that list made and cut that project up so we can bring it back to you.
Okay.
But it's on my radar, but it just hasn't got there yet.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we move to recess the Board of commission meeting to executive session for 5 minutes to discuss individual employees' performance pursuant with non-elected personnel matter exception KSA 75-4319B, Section 1, to protect the privacy of the employee with Sean.
Is that what this is too?
I don't know what that one is.
The one that's listed on there?
No, that one may or may not happen. I'm not sure, because I think Burton had a concern about it being a legal executive session on something, so
Okay.
maybe something we need to talk about. We'll come back.
Sure. Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to go to executive session for 5 minutes for personnel. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Are we back in? Okay, Sean?
Commissioners, I'm asking you to approve a job description for a van driver and a clerk. This would take a part-time van driver that we have now, allow them to do clerk duties as well, to complete no more than an average of 30 hours per week, keeping the position part-time, but also augmenting our staff as Darcy leaves us and goes over to the clerk's office, keeping those positions part-time without having to add more staff members.
I'll make a motion that we approve the job description for the van driver clerk.
I'll second it.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries.
My next request would be to hire Nicole Brown, who is our part-time transportation driver, for that van driver clerk position at no more than an average of 30 hours per week. And I'm sorry, at 7B for a salary range.
I'll make a motion that we hire Nicole Brown at 7B for the van driver clerk position.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to hire Nicole Brown at pay scale 7B for the van driver clerk. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
See that?
All right. Let's go ahead and we'll open it up for public comment. A citizen desiring to speak on an item not on the agenda may do so at this time. Discussion is limited to 5 minutes and the commission will not take action at this time. Items introduced under public comment may become agenda items for a later time or date. Is there any public comment?
Allie Hamilton, Trading Post Museum. I'll pass this up. I'm just here to request that the commissioners approve. I'll let you read through it, but I'm looking basically for approval on a Trading Post unincorporated sign off of 69 Highway.
But did you already bring this up once and it never, or is this something that we just?
No, I don't think I brought this one up. Basically, I think I wanted the Trading Post museum sign off the highway, but I have to prove like 2 years of 2,000 visitors. So that one is kind of on hold.
Okay. So you just want a sign that says Trading Post unincorporated?
Yeah, so basically KDOT's gone through it all, and if you read like the first line, so KDOT for unincorporated communities, so the 69 highway doesn't split directly through Trading Post. So like if you go like Franklin, it says Franklin unincorporated, but because 69 doesn't split through Trading Post, we're not actually in the manual to get that sign off 69. So they're requesting that the commissioners approve that it says Trading Post exit via County Road.
So you're just asking for our approval and then KDOT will give you the sign then?
Basically, it says at the very end, the Linn County Commission would have to make an official request to KDOT for a Trading Post via County Road sign.
And you have to go through all this because it's a historic byway and you can't put signs on the highway, right? Is that kind of, or why, I mean,
Yeah,
why,
basically, it's a lot of,
And
says-
they'll pay for the sign, or we're gonna have to pay for the sign?
They pay for everything. Construct, like the sign, they have to do it to the standards. It says it on there, like the freeway standards at 75 miles per hour. We do not qualify for a standalone sign because 69 highway does not split through it. It is on the outside of it. It used to split through it, but obviously not anymore. So
I don't have an issue with it.
I don't either. So we need a motion that says we are asking KDOT for official request for a trading post via county road sign.
I think so. And then I just maybe need something to be drawn up on it so I can get it to Priscilla possibly. Or at least a copy of the minutes. I guess that would work too.
That's my motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to put in an official request to KDOT for a trading post via county road sign. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
All opposed? Motion carries. Is there any other public comment? If not, we'll go ahead and close public comment at this time.
I do have one other thing I wanted to bring up today. I've got on the upcoming note on the agenda, a special meeting for election canvas. Maybe it didn't make it. Is it on that?
It's on there.
Okay. State changed the deadlines for my audit and my canvas and everything associated with this election. So we need to have the canvas on Wednesday, March 27th. So I would like for you guys to schedule a special meeting just for a canvas that morning.
What time? 9 a.m.?
9 is what I posted for my.
Be in your office.
I think probably that would be fine. The only thing, if we do it over there, we're not going to have the cameras, but there are no write-ins on this election. Really, the only thing we're going to do is I'm going to make a recommendation on provisional ballots that come in, and then we're going to open them and run them through the scanner. So there's not going to be much to this one. It should be very quick.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we schedule a special meeting for March 27th at 9 a.m. for the canvas.
I'll second it. Motion's been moved and seconded to schedule a special meeting for Wednesday, March 27th at 9 a.m. Election canvas. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Yeah, would you guys rather do some of that over here where and actually I could bring a scanner over here and we could do the whole thing here if you wanted to, and that way you can broadcast it if you want to.
Whatever's easiest for you is for them. So.
It's whatever, or whatever, David, you want.
Okay, well, let's just plan on it here and then we can turn this stuff on and have it. So,
David?
Yes.
Just so you know, I can be there that morning if you guys need me to be there, but I have to leave about 10 o'clock. So if you guys have any legal needs or whatever that morning, can we take them out of the way first?
The only thing I could think of is if I've got some kind of questionable provisional ballot.
Okay.
But I could try to contact you ahead of time and let you know about that. And like I said, there's no write-ins. It's a very quick, easy one. So I don't know why we would need anything else.
Okay, that's fine, just to let you know.
Okay.
That's all I've got.
What about the resolution that Gary wrote up for the solar?
I've got it here. Somewhere buried in all this. The one to not accept CUPs until
Yeah,
we moratoriums over. And I think Burton, I sent that to you also, right?
Yeah, I reviewed it and, I wasn't at the meeting when that discussion was held. So, I mean, the resolution looks fine. I guess you need to review it, make sure it looks like what you want to read, but
So,
I didn't see any problem with it, but I wasn't there, so
yeah, this is what he'd had prepared.
Yes, you
Want me to read it? Resolution providing for a temporary moratorium on approval of utility solar conversion systems in the unincorporated areas of Linn County. Whereas under KSA 12-741 and KSA 19-101, Linn County has inherent power and statutory authority to regulate land use and rural development through zoning regulations. Whereas the current Linn County zoning regulations allow for solar energy conversion systems under certain conditions. And whereas said solar energy conversion systems are governed by the county's conditional use permit process. Whereas the commission has made aware of concern among residents of the county that said SECS regulations and CUP processes fail to adequately regulate utility SECS uses in the best interest of the county and its residents. And whereas the county commission desire to provide an opportunity to review existing regulations to consider possible changes. Whereas the county commission desires to give notice to potential SECS CUP applications that an application contemplated at this time may be subject to zoning regulations different than those in effect today. Whereas the county commission originally implemented a moratorium on approval of utility solar conversion systems by way of resolution 2023-49. And the county commission now wishes to make certain revisions in terms of the moratorium. So therefore it be resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of Linn County that this resolution continues the moratorium established in resolution number 2023-49 and revises and replaces the terms of that resolution. The Linn County Planning Commission and the Linn County Planning and Zoning staff are hereby directed to suspend the accepted and approving of any application submitted requesting the issuance of a CUP or permits for the erection of operation of a utility solar energy conversion system as defined in Linn County zoning regulations 14-201 Section C. Establishment of a utility solar energy conversion system is defined by Linn County zoning regulations 14-201 is hereby suspended and prohibited, and the same is hereby declared to be a violation of public interest of Linn County so long as the resolution shall remain in effect. No applications for solar energy conversion system CUPs will be accepted during the existence of the moratorium. Notice is hereby given to the SECS CUP application process and regulations now existing may be revised and amended as a result of public input and the study of the Planning and Zoning Commission. This moratorium on acceptance and approval of utility SECS CUP applications shall be in effect from the time of its approval until December 31st, 2024. The moratorium imposed by this resolution may be extended, terminated earlier, otherwise, or subsequent action of the Board of County Commissioners. That's the one.
It's a lot.
So all this is really doing is accepting or saying that we're not going to accept applications, not that they can't continue on with their daily process, right?
What do you mean continue on with their daily process?
Doing surveys and things like that.
Yeah, I think so. Can I take a look at it real quick? But right.
Because I know that's kind of been a concern. Darren, while he looks at that, do you want to talk about where you guys are at? You guys are good with that?
Darren Wilson, Planning and Zoning Director. Good morning, Commissioners. I just want to give you an update. At the last Planning and Zoning meeting, they had discussion about continuing the ad hoc committee. We're going to meet this Wednesday, and there's going to be discussion about getting that wrapped up, getting a red line document put together so that Planning and Zoning can discuss where to go from there on April 9th at our regular meeting.
So April 9th is the
Yes.
planning and zoning? So they didn't want to give a recommendation on their findings or anything until the ad hoc was completed, right? Is that what?
So Planning and Zoning can only vote on the changes. The ad hoc committee cannot. So we've got to get a red line document put together for Planning and Zoning to look at, have discussion over, and make changes if so desired.
Okay.
Danny, to answer your question, yeah, this doesn't, speak to surveys or anything like that. I mean, really, the first line that this resolution continues the moratorium. I mean, that's really the meat of it. It just extends it till, let's say, December 31st.
Which is already where it's at.
Yeah.
So just ratifying it and saying that we won't accept.
We won't, yeah, there's not going to accept any CUPs, and you're not establishing any of the SEC infrastructure.
Okay.
You guys good with that?
Fine with me.
What's the resolution number?
That would be, second. 2024-10.
I'll make a motion that we accept, resolution number 2024-10.
Second. I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept resolution 2024-10. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
I just wanted to give you that update. That's all I've got for today.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Darren.
Thanks.
Oh, hey, while you're in here, I don't know if you heard last week, we talked about, whenever you get an application for a CUP or anything, if you could bring it to us before it goes to planning and zoning, just so we are aware of it.
Yeah, I'd plan on starting to do that. I'll,
Hopefully that doesn't make your job harder. It just,
no, I'll send them to David and have him put in your guys' share folders what they are.
okay.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I'd like a 5-minute personnel with Sean and maybe Darren. Darren later, maybe. A 5-minute personnel.
And we have Clearway on the agenda also, or whenever you get to that.
Can we tack on a 5-minute legal on that as well?
Yep.
Okay. Is that a
I'll make a motion. We go in for total of 10 minutes, 5 for personnel, 5 for legal. Executive session.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded to go into executive session for 10 minutes for 5 for personnel with Sean and possibly Darren, and 5 for legal. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, are we back in? Okay, we do have action.
I would like to make a motion that we make the planning and zoning codes and sanitation a salary position at $54,316.60. We had talked about this when we first hired Darren on. We asked him to kind of rebuild that office, and he's done a good job. A lot's been put on his plate, and I think he's done a fabulous job. So, and last year we had budgeted $55,000 for it, and told him that we would assess it as the time came. So I think it's time. So I make a motion that we allow that at a salaried position at $54,316.60.
I'll second that motion. It's been moved and seconded to move Darren Wilson, the Planning and Zoning Director, to a salary position at $54,316.60. Is there any discussion?
I don't think it's a good idea. I think we're just growing government, putting more vehicles on the road.
Okay. Other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes 2-1. Okay. Next up on the agenda, we've got Barry from Clearway.
Morning.
Morning.
Thanks for giving me an opportunity to visit. That motion that passed before you went into executive sessions kind of changed what I was going to talk about. But I just wanted to come in and visit with you all again. I think what we want to do is make it clear that, and I don't know, our new county attorney may want to weigh in on this, but we've had 3 meetings in a row where we've talked about the contribution agreement, the county. Contribution agreement, I think we want to be careful about conditioning that on a conditional use application. That's something that I think there's some legal precedent that puts both the applicant, it puts everybody at risk of a lawsuit down the road. So tying the two together is something that we're going to pull back from so that you guys don't get sued by us or by opponents. So I just want to stipulate that, but within that conversation, I wanted to note that we've heard your priorities. We appreciate having been able to come in here and talk publicly many, many times about this. We plan to keep on listening to members of the community to learn how, if we're able to come here, how we can be good members of the community and work with the contribution agreement. The second thing that we've heard loud and clear is that it's important to members of the commission that if Linn County were to move ahead with the contribution agreement, that it be the best in the state, and we can commit to doing that. I think the ad hoc committee's work, as I understand it, and I want clarification if you'd be willing to give it to me based on this resolution that just passed, that the ad hoc committee's work, which we believe they've done a good job. Allie, Emily, and Mark have been at every single meeting, some combination of the 3 of them, and we appreciate that. The proponents have been at every single meeting. We appreciate that as well. And then the members of planning and zoning have by and large attended. All the changes have been in favor of the objections to the solar ordinance. They've tightened the prospective solar ordinance. And again, at least our position is that it's improved it because it reflects the public's feedback. And we appreciate that. And so my understanding is that the process this Wednesday is to continue to take feedback. I think in particular, Mark has some questions or requests. At the last meeting, he said he had some language on setbacks that I haven't seen it. Hope it gets submitted so that there's one comprehensive document. What I hope does not happen is that committee stalls out. I don't think that's a service to anybody, the commission level, at the committee level, to the members of the ad hoc committee who are not permanent members of planning and zoning, to have that committee just meet 8 times all winter long and then stall. So it's our hope the committee continues to do its work. They get some sort of final set of proposed changes into an attorney so that the document can be redlined, and then it goes to the committee, and then it would need a public hearing.
Correct.
And then after the public hearing, P&Z would vote on whether to move forward with it and submit it to you all. You know, P&Z doesn't meet again until the 9th of April. It doesn't seem likely that the ad hoc committee's work will be done by then. I may be wrong. And so I don't think there'll probably be a public hearing on this until late April at the very earliest, maybe May. So I don't suspect there would be a submission of any revised solar ordinance to tighten it up until probably June. Is that?
Well, from my understanding of listening to their meeting here, was it last week or week before, they were going to try to give us all their findings. They're going to try to bring us back a advice on that following after April 9th, right? Because it was a big old deal of what date it was going to be. So it sounded like they planned to be done this Wednesday with the.
Well, again, I think Mark had a number of requested changes on setbacks that he hasn't brought in yet. And then I think after the setback section is the decommissioning section. And I suspect there'll be conversation about that. I'm not inviting conversation. That being said.
With red line that we're submitting.
Okay. So here you go. So the new set, and so it just seems like this process, I'm actually asking for clarification here on timeline for expectations to then be able to move ahead with the process in front of you guys. And so because you just passed a resolution says we can't submit an application under any circumstance, that resolution now impacts about 20 people at our company and at our consultant. And so we need to now go back this afternoon and figure out how to deal with that. And that's okay.
But you guys have never submitted anything. So, how's that affecting you guys anyway?
Well, we've been preparing to submit. To submit a conditional use permit application is an extensive process. You have to do all the wetland delineation stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into it that takes a lot of people's work, and they're just plugging away at it. If this is something that's going to be pushed back a quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters, that's something that I'm not angry. I'm just telling you that it is a situation that requires us now to rejigger a whole bunch of people's work. And all I'm seeking now is some understanding of when you think the process will be wrapped up. Is what I articulated pretty similar to what you're thinking? I know it may just be off the top of your head right now, but I'd appreciate any feedback you have on that.
I don't know that myself, we don't know yet. We're still waiting on planning and zoning, right?
It sounded like they had a meeting on the 9th, right? April 9th?
They do, but I don't think they're going to have the final, I may be wrong, I don't think they're going to have the final red line from the work. If Emily, you're saying you're going to submit something on Wednesday.
That doesn't mean that it's gonna be complete.
That's right. So the 27th would be the next Wednesday, the 3rd would be the next Wednesday. There'd be 2 more opportunities on Wednesday nights for the ad hoc to get together to maybe have something ready on Tuesday the 9th. If you miss Tuesday the 9th, then you're into either a special meeting or you're into the May, the May meeting.
Right.
Well, I don't think it's our place to be planning the meetings for planning and zoning, do you?
All I'm seeking is guidance that planning and zoning continue to move ahead with this process, that the ad hoc committee continue to move ahead with the process, that there isn't a change in the commissioner's opinion that the ad hoc committee should move ahead with a red line. That red line should then move through the regular process, which is to go to the planning and zoning minus the ad hoc members and to go through the legal process. That's still where your heads are?
Yeah, I anticipate that they're going to bring us their findings on the 15th of April.
Okay.
but it's
Then there's a
gonna
public,
have to go to public hearing and things that way.
yeah, there'll be a public hearing. There's a notice period for that.
Right.
Then you got to bring it back to the committee.
Which is, I mean, is that 10-day notice or what is it?
What's the public hearing, Darren? Can you give us our rundown of what that would look like, please?
A public hearing, you've got to give 20 days notice in the official paper, which now we've got other means of notification. So I'm not going to speak for planning and zoning. I know that they said that they wanted to get this wrapped up and move forward. It's going to take quite a bit of work. I can't set a time frame to it, but even if they discuss it on the 9th and vote on something, you're still looking at May for a public hearing. And then to get the information from the public hearing, the next scheduled meeting would be probably May, June for planning and zoning, unless they call for a special meeting. And on a special meeting, we've got to give 10 days notice on that. So
does that kind of clarify a little bit, Barry?
Yeah, that's helpful. Yeah, I just again, want to,
sorry.
no, please go right ahead.
And once they make their final vote, we don't have to wait a time period to bring it to the commissioners. We can bring it to the commissioners the following Monday of when they make their decision on whatever. But then, like always, you guys can either table it, pass it, deny it, whatever you guys choose to do.
Or whatever.
Send it back. So it could be, if you table it or send it back, that's just going to add more time to it.
So do they, I guess what I was listening to was they anticipating on April 9th to have,
No, April 9th's our regular meeting, and that's when they're going to discuss, because we couldn't get notification out in time to have the special meeting. So they decided just to do it on the 9th, because as of right now, I've only got one case that night, and it'll be a quick one because it's just a rezoning. So, so there was a motion and a second on the floor that night, but it was motion to put that off for more discussion.
Okay. So that's where we sit.
sorry.
No,
I would like to see us continue to push through this and try to get a solution and our finality to this situation as soon as possible.
yeah, no, I appreciate that. I appreciate the commissioners clarifying that. I recognize that this is an issue that is brought up, at least in the recent months, often twice a week in this county. So if we're going to go into a period where it's not as frequent, that's also helpful to know for planning purposes. So I appreciate you guys offering the clarity, and thank you.
Thank you,
We'll be
Barry.
here on Wednesday night at P&Z's ad hoc meeting.
You talked about, what were you talking about your very first statement about relying on a CUP for what?
Can't be conditioned. The CUP can't be conditioned on a contribution agreement.
What do you exactly mean by that? Like, we can't put in the CUP what you guys are going to contribute?
You can't condition the approval of the CUP on a
Right.
contribution agreement. You can't condition the conditions within the CUP on the contribution agreement. The two need to be delinked.
Would you explain to me how we could negotiate the CUP then? Or I mean, a pilot?
Yeah.
How do we negotiate?
I would defer to the county's council on that. I am not, I'm not in a place to opine on whether or not Kansas law deleverages both sides. But I think you can tell by the way I said that, it feels like that from both sides. It is what it is. I mean, I wish, honestly, this is the only state that I've seen it like this, where this is the only state where I've seen this. There may be other states that are like this that I haven't haven't worked on a project for
You're saying
state.
you can negotiate a pilot in other states besides Kansas?
Well, first of all, it's a pilot instead of a contribution agreement, and I think that's a very important delineation, right? So payment in lieu of taxes is its own little category of law. A contribution agreement is purely a donation from a business coming into a county,
Which we can't negotiate.
which neither side can condition the other side upon. So it's and it cuts both ways.
CUP.
We can't negotiate.
Yeah. But so Commissioner, no, I appreciate your point though.
But
Wishful hope that we get it.
Okay.
I
Thank you,
think
Barry.
we've been cautioned about that by our previous legal counsel and an outside counsel that we were working with on this stuff too. So.
Has there ever been a lawsuit that anyone's ever heard of though?
I think there had, so I've been made aware of a suit from, let's say Butler County. I have been trying to find that. I think I just got some information, but I need to look at it. But I think there maybe has been some litigation in that regard, yeah.
Okay.
And, you know, I think the message is you can't, it can't be, I mean, this is not the right word, but, you know, basically bribe, you know, I'll give you a bunch of money if you give me a CUP, basically. That's what they're trying to avoid is they want to, like you said, decouple that you get a payment and I get a CUP sort of thing. They want it to be, if you get a CUP, it's on the merits of the CUP. You don't get a CUP because you paid the county X dollars.
we haven't made that statement. All we
No, and
just put a hold on the
sure.
cup.
And no one said you had, but I think with the message is we just don't want to get into that situation.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have anything else for today?
I need 15 minutes executive session for non-elected personnel with just 3 commissioners. And if we choose to bring someone else in,
And
we'll state it then.
can you say what time to return at?
Return at 11:14, or I guess 11:09, or 11:11, I guess would be 15.
Okay, so that clock's a little off from what I've got on here.
Yeah, you state it then.
I've got 10:58 as a current time, so that'd be 11:13.
Okay.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll say.
It's been moved and seconded to go into executive session for 15 minutes for non-elected personnel, returning at 11:13 with just the 3 commissioners. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, we have no action from executive session. All right, do we have any other business to get to today?
So, I don't.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. Meeting adjourned.